Hey there, besties. We are back. Let's go ahead and talk about this video that came from the Dalton Trustees site with regard to checks written to cash. I don't understand how, where, when, and why they do that at where you are in charge of a government-controlled account and you're just writing stuff to cash. That doesn't even sound like it makes sense because you don't know where that money is going. You don't know how it's being utilized. And from what I understand, of course, as per usual, there's no receipts that are being turned in. Big Tiff always want to talk about receipts. Next time she says receipts, somebody should say spell it. How come she always talking about receipts, but the things that she needs to provide receipts for, she doesn't? We ain't talking about receipts as in the hip hop term. We talking about actual in hand, itemized, how the money was used type of receipt. But Big Tiff out here thinking that she's smarter than everyone else. And you can see that in that meeting last night. Each meeting, she gets more and more glamorized, quote unquote. And yet she's still not answering any questions and she's still giving the same daggone speech. This daggone meeting, except for the part with Kiana and Big Tiff going back and forth, is wash, rinse, repeat. And nothing is going to change. The residents need to change up their MO. They need to change up how they're going to do this because them getting up here, especially with the same people, giving the same gripe, saying that they don't like her and she need to resign. She's not going to resign. So that's a waste of time. That's a waste of 3 minutes, in my opinion. If y'all don't know by now, after last night, Big Tiff's Achilles heel is her mom. And honestly, at the end of the day, probably her kid, but we're not going to bring the kids into it. Shout out to Drake and Kendrick Lamar. What I would suggest they do is to go ahead for the next meeting and get some shirts made up that says your mama Tiff and then see how that goes. Let everybody wear that shirt. And then get up there and have some different people up there and then have them sit up there and say, so how's your mom, Tiff? She'll be out of control and she may slip up even more. She doesn't care. And who would expect her to? She hasn't cared all this time, but she'd be the first person talking about how could you do this to a black woman?
Because y'all got false narratives out there and y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power.
But never seems to realize what she's doing to black people and black women and black men and black children. But, that's just something where when you're dealing with a narcissist, it's all about them. And if she's the smartest one in her clique, which, come on now, it's her, it's Lacey, it's Mr. DOTTS, it's Keith Freeman. Come on now, child. She probably is the smartest one, child. I'm just saying. But anybody that happens to be in Dalton and you want some more pettiness from me on ideas of what to do, holla at me, okay? IG or send me an email. Anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this foolishness and then see what we think.
The recent indictment of the village administrator underscores the need to shine a light on the inconsistencies and falsehoods within Mayor Henyard's administration.
If a person can lie on their own financials, what do you think they're doing for the village?
It's crucial to have trustees who are dedicated to accountability and public spending. Shedding light on mismanagement helps ensure that taxpayer funds are used efficiently and effectively for the benefit of the community. With the latest rounds of federal subpoenas, one thing they mentioned was checks written to cash.
It asks for all records, including personnel files, wage and tax statements, time and attendance, records of work performed, contracts, and checks written to cash.
Checks written to cash.
I just like to reiterate, if anybody watched the March meeting when we had discussion about these items and the $65,700 came up. If you go to 1 hour and 35 minutes, our finance director said that the items had been paid in cash.
The other invoice that they paid in cash, we have receipts for that as well. So we're not paying the vendor. If you all vote on it tonight, they will be paid. It is already on the warrant list.
And we're still waiting on the receipts. And if they have been paid in cash, why is this vendor still contacting us asking for payment? So when people go and say things, everything is recorded. And it goes back to our transparency and lack thereof that we're not getting information that we requested. Because as soon as she said it, I instantly raised my eye when we start paying $65,000 in cash anywhere. And then for this vendor to still contact us, emailing us saying that she hasn't been paid, really draws concern. Where's the money?
What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside. Okay, I told you before, y'all know that I get all these good deals and everything else. Y'all better ask about me because I do all that all the time. And that's on who? Mary Henry the Lamb. Okay.
So allegedly now, these people down in Dalton are writing checks out to cash and then saying, oh yeah, we'll provide receipts. Oh yeah, we'll provide receipts, and then don't do it. Who is that lady? Who is that lady that's talking about all y'all gotta do is approve it and then we'll provide the receipt? No, that's not how that works. No, you provide the receipt first and then we shall approve it. Like, what are we talking about right now? And who went for that? Did they approve that? I don't know. And I'm not going back to look into that. But for her to even say that, that's crazy. That's what I heard anyway. Child, please. I tell you, this gets crazier and crazier every single daggone story. And this is something that you should be talking about, Tiff. Not showing us Easter bunnies and Dora the damn Explorer. You should be answering to this. I lost the receipt, or this is the name of the person. You at least, if you gave someone $65,000 and you didn't get a receipt, let's think about that for a second. If you went to a bank and you took out $65,000, which whatever bank it's at, they got it on tape. They have that receipt as well, as far as the piece of paper that said, I want $65,000 and someone signed it. Don't think that the FBI don't have that, Big Tiff. Don't think that the FBI don't have that. That is very easily provable. So you walk out the bank with $65,000 and then you went over to Heave Ho over here to pay them, and you trying to tell me that you gave someone $65,000 and you didn't get a receipt in hand, paper, emailed, something that says paid for services rendered, paid in full, thank you for your business, nothing. But you think people are supposed to trust you and go along with whatever the hell it is that you say? None of that makes any sense whatsoever. That's crazy. Tiffany, it's very easy to go to the bank and see who went in there. But just imagine if it was Big Tiff that was over there that walked into the daggone bank, took the money out. Girl, I hope you wasn't that silly. Lord knows, I hope you weren't that silly. But if allegedly they needed 2 signatures, and I'm just going by my brain right now from videos that we had where they need 2 signatures or something, and she's one, and I think the clerk might be the other one. You went and did that all on your own, and you didn't even get the second signature. Child, somebody need to be suing the bank if that's the case. It sounds like somebody need to be suing that daggone bank and maybe get the funds back from that perspective, because if they did wrong, they're at fault and they need to give you money back. Child, this is a mess. This is a mess. That's what y'all need to be looking at if any of those trustees or whatever happen to be listening to this daggone broadcast. If someone went into a bank and they didn't have the proper signatures and y'all sitting up here waiting for Tiffany to bring you daggone receipts, you need to go ahead and go to that daggone bank and say, how, Sway, did this happen? I'm just saying, I could be wrong, child, but if it requires 2 signatures and somehow, some way, they got signatures that weren't on the daggone ledger or the signature card, then they at fault as well. And there's some money that maybe you can get back, especially if there's more than one case of checks written to cash. That's just my 2 cents. What the hell do I know? Anyway, Tiff won't talk about this. Tiff won't talk about things that matters. This whole show, it's all the same thing over and over again. Child, we only been looking at it, what, 2 to 3 months as far as their board meetings are concerned. Residents come in, they fight, they clamor, they mad. The news media is there. They go in, they say what they got to say. They yell at her. They mad. They tell their stories. Tiffany don't care. She look away. They acknowledge it. The lawyer sits back in his chair. Lacey runs off at the mouth talking about, you better be quiet. You better be quiet. You better be quiet. Trustees really barely talk as far as I'm concerned. They'll say a little bit of something. They nice about it. This time, okay, Kiana wasn't so nice. Shout out to her. And then they went behind closed doors. And when they came back, They didn't really say anything more, so it was no need for us to even continue the live stream. Just the FYI. Tiffany goes off to say, I'm black, you black, let me do what I want. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm the smartest one here. Y'all causing all this chaos. Y'all. Sounding like daggone Busta Rhymes up there. It's everybody else but her, taking no accountability for any daggone thing, but she want to talk about potholes. Y'all, you can't make it up. This is a comedy. Is Saturday Night Live doing this yet? Anybody know? Bueller? Is Saturday Night Live doing this as a skit yet? Because if not, they need to go ahead and get a hold of it as well. Child, I'm so over this mess. I'm so over this woman. I'm so over all of this. But yeah, I'm so over this. I'm so tired of it. But we invested now. We waiting for them silver bracelets. I'm waiting for those silver bracelets. And anybody that's going to turn around and try to have empathy and sympathy for Tiffany Henyard when that happens, I'm going to need you to come back and look at these things again before you have any, because I do not, and I will not. That's it. That's all. Like this daggone video. Subscribe if you are new. Make sure you comment. I see you all in the next one.
We do not care